Hello.
Hi.
Sorry that took a bit to get going.
It's
Our
technology.
internet is
It's
iffy
all
at
good.
best.
That's all good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Where are you?
I'm in LA, and
You're in LA.
if you hear my dogs barking, I'm so sorry. They're in quarantine too.
Yeah, we have the same going on here. There's often scratching at the door while I'm doing
Yeah.
these of the
I've got a
Jack
little
Russell
one.
Daisy.
I've got a little dog that just keeps going upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs because she's like wants everyone to get up, and I fed her, but she's like not stopping. Stop bugging us. Here, go
Stop
upstairs.
bugging us. So how long have you been home?
Um, May 13th. May 13th. March 13th. See, like it all blends together. March 13th.
And is this the longest stretch you've been actually home in a while? Or do you stay home in I mean, I see you in New York, I see you in Paris, I see you in London.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the longest stretch I've had in a while. The only time, yeah, no, it is. It is because even if I might have like 2 or 3 weeks home and it seems like a long time, but this is definitely in the last 3 or 4 years for sure. How
And you
about
like
you?
it? Are you getting used to it?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not totally, it's not foreign to me to be home and have some time off, but what I'm not used to is being able to take space because I need quiet time and my house is not quiet and there's 4 other people and I just can't seem to find a room where it's quiet.
I know what you mean. I have my
And
little
my
office here and I shut the door and inevitably, even if the door's shut, somebody's walking in.
Totally. So, and I'm one of those people who needs, a little bit of that. Just so I got in my drove last night. Uh-oh, you're in.
Yeah.
I hope you're
Okay.
again.
Yeah, we went to the grocery store twice today. Okay, I'm back. We went to the grocery store twice today. We're like,
That's
"Oh,
your
let's go
venture
do
out.
one thing. Let's go do
Let's
one
see
thing." And then we
other
get in the car and we
humans.
have to go do the other thing.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. That's it.
It's a strange time, but actually something really cool happened last night when I went on my drive to get some space. Um, I hadn't actually taken the car by myself at night in 2 months. And I got in the car and I had heard there's the I don't know if I'm saying it right, the phosphorus algae that lights up, and it's here right now. And I think it's algae. I need to read up on it actually, so I'm not like speaking out of turn. But I was driving because I'm on PCH, and I was driving and I was like, is that what I think it is? And the waves were glowing. It was so
Magical.
cool. I was like, what a great time to get out and take some space. I didn't it never even it wasn't intentional at all. And because, PCH and the drive here are like flat, so you can see the sea. It's no, it was so
Fantastic.
cool. They were like bright, like neon blue. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it was super
Fantastic.
cool.
How
So that made my
glorious.
night, and I was like, this is life. This is why we fight.
This is why we fight.
This is
Exactly.
why
And
we fight.
haven't we just been so happy to hear about nature taking its place? I saw a great video today
Yeah.
of a port in Cape Town where a whale came swimming into the port
Wow.
among all the pleasure yachts. And it was so lovely, and people were petting the
Amazing.
whale and we're in the south of France, and apparently because no one's been on the beach, the wild boar are running down the beach.
That's so cute.
Isn't
I
that
love
great?
that.
And there's somebody
I
filmed
love
them
that.
kicking and playing in the sand and running through the waves. Isn't that
I
adorable?
love that. Yeah,
And then and
I
then the
I
dolphins and seahorses in the canals in Venice.
I put a video up of a jellyfish swimming through the canal there, and it's amazing. I think that
It's
is
fantastic.
all the human stories are powerful that are coming out. Of course, everybody helping each other and connecting, and people volunteering and all of that is incredible. But when I see the magic of what nature organically does and what the planet is supposed to be like, it that's when I'm really in awe of this time down, because I think it proves a point to us that resetting and
Absolutely.
slowing down is the key to preserving everything, everything.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, when we talked last fall, I remember the UN was putting out those resolutions saying we need to do this, we need to do that, and if we're going to, stop global warming by 2030 or 2050, we need to reach these certain goals and points and
Mhm.
dial this all back. And everyone said, "Oh, but it's impossible! It's impossible!" And boom, we've dialed it so far back in 6 weeks. I feel like
Yeah.
it just proves that if we put our minds to it, we can totally
Yeah,
do it, right?
it's true. It's true. I mean, and we haven't actually even necessarily put our minds to it. It
No,
was forced upon us. So,
forced upon us, and
yeah,
look at how quickly it rebounded. I think it's fantastic.
I agree with
It's
you.
it's very heartening,
Yeah, it really
and
is.
I feel like for you, for me, for those of us in who are moving more towards into activism and away from, just sort of making noise and or working or doing what we've always done, but trying to spread this message. This gives us fodder. This gives us something to show. Like, look, you can do it if you really want to do it.
Yeah, the data is there when they show those pictures of the air clearing over China or over
I
Europe.
hear the air in LA is fantastic right now.
It's been fantastic. I mean, it's a little misconceiving right now because the marine layer's been coming in because of the change of weather. We
Right,
went from
June
being,
gloom.
yeah, we went from being kind of our winter technically to and rainy to it got it got hot and dry here, and
I
then that
heard.
mixture causes this marine layer to come in. So it's a little deceiving because it'll stay throughout the day and it goes even inland. So it almost looks hazy, but it's not. It's actually just marine layer. But the air here has been incredible. It's true. It's been
I
so
heard
clear.
I heard that in all the years they've been measuring the smog levels, it's never been so low.
That's what I heard too. I heard that out of all the largest cities, and we have like the cleanest air right now, which is
Yeah,
like hard to believe. But
fantastic, right?
yeah,
Because there is no industry really. There's nothing else, chugging out bad except for cars. So if there are no cars driving
cars.
around,
Yeah, and I
these
think the
cars.
our port of LA down in Long Beach is quite dirty, but I know that they've been working really hard to clean that up in general anyway. But I'm sure there's not that many ships coming in bringing. I mean, I'm sure they're bringing some stuff, but not like before.
No. So are you doing anything in particular to help the effort?
Well,
Are you,
I'm
besides
doing
talking to me?
I've done a few of these. I've done some panels, and it's new to me. For whatever reason, talking to the camera like this is like so awkward.
I know,
Um,
but it's fun.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm having fun seeing you. So if I just keep my focus on you and not anything else, then I'm good. I've done a lot of this stuff, and um, I still work with Greenpeace and Fire Drill Fridays. So we do those virtual rallies because obviously we can't rally in
Fantastic.
person.
I
Um,
love the Fire Drill Fridays. I think they're genius.
yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. And I'm working on, some of my own stuff and pretty much just do whatever I'm asked to do, with the right people. There was the whole stuff with Remake and Fashion Revolution Week. And
Fashion Revolution Week, yeah.
so, I think most importantly, it's just to continue to speak about changing the way we make things, whether it's
Yeah,
fashion, computers, or cars, or whatever.
everything. That was the whole point of my book, that I use fashion to talk about I could have been talking about widgets, but widgets are way less sexy.
Thank you for your book, by the way. I read it and it was great. My favorite part about it actually was the whole education of the industrialization of fashion and like how it kind of came to be. I found that so fascinating. And
I was amazed when I started digging into it, how it had never changed from day one.
that's
And I recently said to GQ in an interview, I said, if you had told Charles Dickens or Engels in the mid 19th century that we would be talking about the same thing in 2020, they say, you're out of your mind. There's no way it's going to be like this in 125 years.
Yeah.
or 175 years, you know, like, and yes, it is. It's still the same story.
And hence, to that point, I think that that's how it is about a lot of our systems that we've created. You know, the economic system, um, the industrial system, whatever it is, the healthcare system. A lot has not. I mean, yes, there've been advancements, but there hasn't been like change that feels modern. And
No,
21st century, we're still operating in systems that don't work today.
no, we just tweak what somebody started. Now,
Yeah.
some inventions are perfect, like the umbrella. You can't really change the umbrella, right? You look at it and you're like, yeah, it's perfect.
I think make an umbrella, it doesn't break so easily.
Yeah, but it's a perfect design, you know,
Yeah,
like that, they got it.
designs.
But the factory system is not a perfect design.
No.
And all we've done is just tinker with it, but it's pretty much the same thing as it was 200, 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazily. And shipping, putting things on ships and sending it all over the world. And I don't know if that's such a great solution for, you know, there are good things to globalization, and then there are ways that we're just sort of overusing it and abusing it, and it's come back to, I mean, and voila, we have this virus that curiously followed the Silk Road
Mm.
around the world, right?
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense.
It followed the Silk Road
Didn't even think about that. So interesting.
from China to Italy to France and across.
If that's where we're moving trade and how we're moving trade, that makes
We're
sense.
still moving trade following the Silk Road. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
No. So you, right before all this broke,
Hmm.
and we all got sent home, I saw and was very pleased to see that you've been named the sustainable editor of British Vogue, for whom I'm now writing as well. So we are confrères.
Wow. We'll have.
So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
But now, what does this entail? What are you doing? Are you
Well,
writing a monthly column? Are you giving talks? Are you consulting with them on how they should rethink approaching fashion?
it's a little bit of everything, actually. I'm kind of given a very open palette and allowed to do pretty much anything I want. But I think you said it all beautifully. I'm advising them and kind of internally, and also I'm able to float from fashion to art, culture. I could write about anything I want, really. Right now, I've only done a couple pieces, and then the pandemic hit. So I really wanted to be able to kind of move into other areas, because I think sustainability isn't just about fashion. It's like we've said, it's
No,
about how we make things and how we live, the
how we
well-being
live.
of ourselves and the well-being of the planet.
A whole ecosystem.
Yes, and not just sustaining where we're at today, but actually uplifting where we are today and making it better. So um, it's just an amazing opportunity to educate the consumer, to learn myself, and also to have dialogue with the fashion industry in a more meaningful way about how we can do it better and how we can really change an old system that doesn't work today and help elevate everything through beautiful clothes and through
Beauty.
beauty. Exactly. But
That's what I say. It's all about beauty.
it is, because we need beauty. The world needs it. I mean, that's the whole point when we look at nature and we're in awe, is because it's beautiful and it's something outside of ourselves. So I'm just so grateful to Edward and the team
Oh,
there.
they're wonderful.
I'm getting my footing. You know, it's still
It's not an easy job.
no, and they're in England, so it's hard because I'm not there to go take meetings, and so we're finding the rhythm, and you know, now with the pandemic, it's thrown a wrench in things, but we'll figure it out. And I think it's actually a great opportunity for fashion.
I do too. I do too. And they seem to be open to the idea of rethinking the mission of a glossy magazine, a
Hmm.
glossy fashion magazine.
They do.
They're
They
trying
do.
to figure it out.
I think that they're looking at trying to move the dialogue to be more about values and not just about consumption, and
Exactly.
that we are thoughtful in what we buy and what we and how we are in the world, because I really do believe that fashion is the beautiful part about fashion. It's an expression of who we are, and it says kind of a little bit about, you know, our personality or what we believe in. And if we can kind of align the two, you know, the value system to even the way we get dressed and the way we create things and make things, then perhaps we have a better world, you know, a more beautiful world. And
A more beautiful world.
yeah,
Joy and
right.
beauty.
There should be, what that Gandhi quote is so amazing. There is no happiness in the finest cloth if it caused suffering, hunger and suffering. And I think
Absolutely.
that is where we're at today. We know that there's too much inequality, and it's just not a fair system right now in fashion. And the supply
No.
chain really, it's vulnerable, and it's also dangerous for a lot of people. It's
Exactly.
not a safe place to be. And we're not talking about models. We're talking about people who are actually making the clothes.
Making the clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the case. I don't want to go to work feeling that I'm literally, you know, standing on the head of some woman in another country who's made this outfit, and I'm getting paid to sell it, and then someone's going to throw it in the trash. And it's just, it's a really ugly cycle.
It's a really ugly cycle.
Yeah.
And the ugly side of it came so glaring through in these last 6 weeks when all these major brands canceled their orders in Bangladesh. And when my book came out and I was working on an op-ed for one of the papers, they said, well, you know, we'd really like you to include a line saying that these brands have gone to these countries, even if it's not great, because they're creating good jobs and lifting people out of poverty, like Nicholas Kristofer always writes. And I said, that's bull. That's absolute bull. I've been there. They are still in poverty. They're working. They're paid half a living wage. How is that lifting them out of poverty? I've been to their shanties and I've sat on their floors. They are still very, very poor. Okay, so maybe they're not in extreme poverty, but they're still poor. And meanwhile, when this comes up, the first thing they do is cancel all those orders, kill all those jobs, and send those people home to creating a poverty that like no one will ever see again.
Yeah.
And have never seen before. A poverty so extreme where they're out protesting saying we'd rather work with coronavirus than sit at home starving because we're not being paid $95 a month, which is as much as those executives in New York who made those decisions pay for lunch.
Yeah.
It just showed such an ugly side to the industry, and it showed who the players are who should not have the consumers' trust.
Absolutely. I have a question. Do you know, you know, even in normal times, do you know who's really benefiting? Is it the factory owners that are really benefiting and they're not giving the money to their workers properly?
It's a bit of everybody. It's shareholders of the major corporations. It's the factory owners.
It's both.
Everybody's squeezing along the way.
Right.
Except, and these poor workers, you know, you paid $10 for something. They were paid a cent to make it. It's like, it's grotesque.
It is grotesque. That part has been really, really weighing heavy on me for a long time. But when this pandemic hit and that became,
it just came out. It just became, they showed their true colors.
Yeah. I think
and they can never hide behind that argument again that we're helping them. And you're just like, yeah, you didn't help them at all. You've made it worse than ever before.
No,
Were you part of the Pay Up campaign?
Yeah, I did.
Great.
Talk about the Pay Up campaign. I mean, unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of people who still haven't paid. There's a lot of companies a lot who said they were going to, and I'm assuming that they're going to keep their commitment. I did see that the government in Bangladesh passed a bill, an emergency fund bill for like 588 million, but that seems like peanuts when you think about how many people you have to pay. And they're expected to lose like 6 billion this year in revenue. That's scary. Really scary.
And before even lockdown, 1 million workers lost their jobs. 1 million.
Most of them are women.
And most of them are women. And they're breadwinners for the families.
Yeah. I know it's I think this is going to be exposed more and more in fashion. It's just not okay. We can't ask
No,
the fees. We can't ask the price to the consumer. We can't expect that things are disposable and then let these people suffer. It's just not okay. I can't,
no,
I can't do it. I really can't. And that's
no.
why I've that and the environment, of course, are the reasons why I've taken up speaking out, because it's just, I, I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
I know. I know. I couldn't do the research I did and write what I wrote and not live it up. I mean, even, Stella's gotten into my head so much that I gave up eating meat for Lent and that stuck. So now I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And it seems like I did this at the right time because the poor meat packers don't want to have to go back to work.
And it's
And they're
horrible.
having to go back to work because everybody wants their steak. I'm like, well, that's not me.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of meat packaging places that have closed here because of the virus. But like, they were forced to work and someone got
It's
sick.
bad. It's all bad. And it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. So let's get happier for a moment. Go back to like fun and beauty and joy. And so tell me, how have you used this to your personal benefit? Like, how have you, besides seeing the phosphorescent waves, which sounds pretty magical?
Um, I have, let's see. I I've done some fun stuff with my stepdaughters. We've played around, we played in makeup, we've cooked a ton of different things I wouldn't have time to cook
Cooking,
for.
right?
Made like these little homemade dumpling things. Um,
Classic.
Little faces on them.
I've been working my way through all my Ottolenghi cookbooks. So tonight we're having two or three things out of one of them.
I have, let's see, I've done a ton of like Zoom and FaceTimes with like I did one with my cousins, like a bunch of cousins that I don't necessarily talk to all the time, or we don't all talk at the same time. And some friends from elementary school. I've played in my garden.
What do you grow in your garden?
I have a like one box of flowers, just like wild, like whatever. And there's like dahlias and uh
Nice.
them there are some I asked for stuff that would attract butterflies and bees and things. And then I'm growing some tomatoes, some cucumbers. I'm looking at it right now. Cucumbers. I was growing cabbage that started looking like Little Shop of Horrors. Have you seen the?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen cabbage grow, but it's
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
I've got like herbs. I put it in my own garlic that I didn't get it from like a plant store. I actually just took a bulb of garlic and I was like,
I
oh,
did too.
and it worked.
And it worked. I've done the same thing.
Satisfying. I'm
Yeah.
coloring, and I'm working on a special project. I don't like to say secret because that drives me crazy when people make it like. But I'm working on a project. I've been meaning to do a book of my work from like 30 years of fashion. So I actually have had the time to put some energy towards that.
Cool. A photo-driven book?
Yeah, but it'll have some narrative too as well, but not my voice necessarily. But yeah, so
Great.
just
Fantastic.
trying to
30
be
years.
trying. Yeah, 30 years.
And now you've decided to chuck it all and join me in
Yeah,
the trenches.
the rebel rousers.
I'm actually just started working on my model memoir from when I was modeling.
You have?
So
That's so
see,
cool.
yeah. So here we are,
So cool.
the two former models writing for British Vogue and trying to change and save the world.
Trying, hopefully,
Trying.
being part of a collective, I hope that is moving in that direction. I think with collaboration with a lot of people, we can actually change things.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I
Thanks,
promised half an
Dana.
hour, and I know it's Saturday morning, so you've got the full day ahead of you. You going to go for a walk on the beach?
I don't know. Well, we're not legally allowed to walk on
You're
the
not.
beach yet.
It's still not allowed. It's still not
No,
open yet.
but I can walk in my neighborhood, and my dog's been coming in and out, so I think I'm going to pay attention to them and step outside because it's beautiful out. So
It's
gonna get.
beautiful out here too. We've had big wind in the south of France today. The Mistral is blowing.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So we've had big wind, and that's made us all sneeze like crazy because of the
Oh,
pollen. But I went for a nice run this afternoon in the vineyards, just down the road and back. And
sounds so good.
it's going
Really
to be hard to go back to the big
bad.
city after this.
That's not a bad place to quarantine.
No, it
If
was by accident. I came for a week, and I'm still here 7 weeks on. But it's not such a bad
not
place
bad.
to be.
No. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you so much for doing this. It was really kind. We'll
Abs-
we'll talk more. We'll plot more. We'll figure
Yeah,
out how we're going to move everybody to do the right thing
I'd love.
and create a world that's far more interested in beauty than money.
I'd
Money
love
should be should come from generating and creating beauty and not the other way around.
absolutely.
All
Thank.
right. Lots of love.
Lots of love, honey. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.